So here we are, all talking about the SOTAs this year. So we just need to do a little introduction for everyone first. To my right is Clint Campbell, and you are possibly in the running for a Best Supporting Actor nod for Mr. Marmalade.
Oh.
You've won one time before, and that was for scenic design.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And now we have Crystal here. Crystal, who is possibly in the running for a Best Supporting Actor nomination for Richard III or Alice, the Rebellion of Wonderland.
What do you know?
Mm-hmm. One nomination for Dancing in Melissa, and one nomination for costume design in Fat Pig.
All right.
Lito here, Fabriano, is the first time, could possibly be the first time being nominated for an acting award. And right now you are in the running for a Best Supporting Actor as Mad Hatter in Alice and the Rebellion of Wonderland. You've been nominated twice before, and both were for The Miracle Junkie. One time as... Oh, not one time. Same time. Writing and directing The Miracle Junkie.
Yes, the first few.
Okay. And John Browning, you have been nominated before and you've won before as a director for House Full of Letters. And you are possibly in the running for Best Actor in Richard III in the title role. That's a pretty amazing feat there. To the right of John is Rebecca Patty.
Hello.
Has been all over the SOTAs.
What?
Yes. You have 3 nominations and 1 win. So perhaps another one this year for Best Actress in Hedda Gabler, another major role. It's funny you guys are sitting together.
You did that on purpose.
Planned.
So yes, you and also you also have a possibility for being nominated in the supporting category for Cyrano de Bergerac, which is amazing. For supporting actor.
Awesome.
Yes. So definitely a lot there to win. It's not like we're winning prizes or anything. And Caitlin Brand. Yes, this is your first time being a part of this running up to the SOTAs, and you are already possibly looking at a Best Actress win for Mr. Marmalade.
Thanks.
Well, it's good to have new blood in this community. And Nick Christensen, who is always a pleasure to work with you. And you are in the running for a Best Actor nomination for An Imaginary Invalid. Another really big roles here. And you have 2 nominations, and one of those you won for Average Day, On an Average Day, and the other one you were nominated for Riff Raff. Alright, so that's everyone. I just want to possibly just throw out a question here. So let's talk about what this year was like. I mean, this year in theater around in Sonoma County. What are some highlights?
Starting from which shows?
From any show. From what was your favorite show out there, and what really stuck with you?
That doesn't answer my question.
It doesn't answer.
Well, for me, one of the shows that was really good and stuck with me was Dog Sees God, Confessions of a Teenage Blockhead, which is a SSU senior project, I believe, directed by Kim Hoffman, which I was just all behind, and I'm hoping we'll get some nominations this year. That was one of my favorites.
Anyone else think anyone should win? Let's talk about best production. Let's talk about that. Quite a lot of good contenders for this. Does anyone feel that one should win. I mean, that particular one. I mean, obviously there's only going to be one winning, but who's the favorite now?
I'm Team Cyrano de Bergerac.
Cyrano de Bergerac.
Let's talk about how many times you came and saw that.
6 times.
6? It was only
Was it
4.
6?
Jesus Christ.
6.
I thought you came 4 times.
6.
Oh my god, I lost count.
Apparently we did a good
And your
job.
grandma too. How many times did your grandma come?
Like 3, I think. 2 or 3. Yeah.
That was impressive.
We both enjoyed it a lot.
Evidently.
Yes.
I would hope so.
Yeah, I'll go along with that. I didn't think the Cyrano, for the size of the show, and for the fact that, with such a large cast and such a, I thought it was a real creative element with all the different costumes and the guns and the fights and everything put together. I thought that, obviously I'm biased from Narrowway's point of view, but definitely, I mean, it was the biggest production I think Narrowway has ever done in the sense of the grandeur of it, and I thought that it actually worked really well for the show Cyrano. And I think also too the audience they really loved it. They came back. Obviously we had Caitlin come back 6
I lied.
6. But I mean that's the thing. Like people kept coming back, and it was great, and it had lots of humor. And I think it's definitely should be a sure runner to a win.
Well, definitely a big production and a big win if that does, because there's so many people part of that cast. There's already 1, 2, 3, 4 of us in that cast are in this room already. 5 actually.
You're not including me, are you?
Oh, maybe I was including. Well,
No,
Well,
there's 5, and then 6. He's a director.
Math is not as strong.
Dude, you sound like an airplane pilot to me. You're like a perfect at extending the syllables of the words.
Another show for me that I think I really like to see kind of get a resurgence is The Imaginary Invalid, which was at the start of this year's voting period, which came out last March, I believe. But I think it was definitely a good memory for me watching that show. It was very funny, it was very entertaining, and I think there's a lot of great.
there was actually a lot going on in that.
Yeah.
There was a lot of. It wasn't just the regular script they had. They also added in the prologue and the kind of intermission kind of show that they had for that originally put in there.
A lot of the Commedia.
Yeah, Commedia. That's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah, I was really pleasantly surprised. I mean, because working with Paul before on Romeo and Juliet, I didn't really know what to expect for a show like this. So when I saw it, it actually, I mean, I told Paul to this day, like I was really impressed with his work as the show as a whole, because it felt like not only the cast was having a good time in the piece, but just like you guys said, the Commedia, the music, the dancing, the poop jokes. I mean, it just you can't go wrong, and it was all there. And I was like, this is a really good show, and I'm glad you brought it up, because I totally don't even. I mean, I remember it, but it's like it feels like 2-3 years ago. But I guess it was last March.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like with Dog Sees God. I feel like the hard thing for those 2 shows is to come back. You know, like those are so far, but I mean, Dog Sees God. When you said that, I was like, all right, I think that was a good. Yeah, that was a good show. It was good. Like it was, they just did like really. It was like across the board good work,
Especially for a senior project, because
Yeah.
those have so much going against them. Whether it's just casting people that are already doing a lot of stuff, or it's finding people to fit roles that they really don't fit for. Everybody really stepped up in that show. And
I
it
mean, even
was really surprising.
Kim had to step up because the girl in her show broke her leg or something. In the last 2 weeks, Kim comes up and has to go from not only directing it to acting in it too. And then you still see and that's one of the most difficult times of the process is the technical aspect, and it's still come out of it the whole show just to run that smooth. Damn, there you go. But with Cyrano and Invalid, I'm biased because I'm in both of them. But those both the sides of the cast, I think those shows had that's something though they the grand size of them just ensemble everyone I was it was cool to be on both ends of it too, you know what I mean, Invalid being the one who's always there and everyone interact with me, and then being Cyrano and be people who get to keep coming on and interacting with the guy who's out there all the time, it was interesting to do that in 1 year, to play both sides of it. But both of those shows, I think, not to toot my own horn,
Does anyone have any particular performance from an actor or an actress that they really felt stood out?
For supporting or for
Any actor?
I mean, I'll say straight up front, like working with Alice, two actors come to mind, both Crystal and Margot. From a director's point of view, were absolute joy to work with, because not only were they working really hard, and everyone was working really hard, but their performances it was just solid, it was beautiful, and it was just great to see both of them watch. And also with Margot, too, when starting with the auditions for the show, and myself, I kind of doubted myself, but there was still something that said, I went through a couple of White Rabbits, and I thought, all right, so who's it going to be? And for some reason, something was telling me, I think Margot would be a great White Rabbit, and myself included. There was other people who were kind of like, I'm not too sure with it, and I'm just really glad that I listened to my instincts, because her performance as the White Rabbit was phenomenal. I mean, she was the part. I mean, everything from her jumping around and running around and being completely not schizophrenic, but hyper vigilant. And it was great. And also too, because of her actual, with her deformities of her feet and with her hands, to fight against that and to delve even deeper into the rabbit role, she just naturally became it, and it wasn't a second as a director watching her that I was like, I can kind of see her acting. Like, she really, I felt, breathed the role, and that was just really wonderful to watch. So I'm definitely pushing for those two for best supporting actresses.